Shemel Shah, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
With this crown, I declare you our sovereign. All hail the king! I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number. And they all prayed Lord Yahweh, but Yahshai, with songs. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. Receive this crown as a blessing from the Most High. May your reign be just and prosperous. So I asked the angel, and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. With this crown, I bestow upon you the legacy of our people. Rule wisely. Now are they crowned, and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of Yahweh, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. With this crown, I charge you to lead our people with wisdom and strength. All hail the new king. Hail! Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell my people what manner of things, and how great wonders of the Lord thy God thou hast seen. I now crown you king. All hail the new king. Long live the king.
Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shemel Shah, Yahweh Shemel Shah, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, we're dealing with, all right, news, all right, dealing with the latest events, the reaction to, the shooting, all right, the mass shooting in Australia, in Bundy Beach, all right, the so-called SIM, okay, T attack, okay, on the small hats, the anti-small hat T attack, okay, and like we always go into when these things happen, all right, the main focus is on the reaction in the media, what they repeatedly, push in the media, all right, what they began to, cry out for. That was the agenda, before the incident. Okay, problem, reaction, solution. The devil uses the same method. All right, that's why Esau, he's washed up. He used the same, method, the same formula. All right, that's why instantly when things happen, people immediately go to scrutinizing these events because this devil, he's been doing the same thing. His enchantments are wearing off. His ability to deceive, okay, is wearing off. And that's why he just finna get draconian. He's gearing up, to play the victim. Okay, so he can look as if he's justified, okay, coming down, with the iron fist. Okay. So what we see, is these devils, all right, gearing up to play the victim, okay, because they finna make a leap, all right, towards this new world order. Okay. And they want people to be disarmed, all right, and they want people to be misinformed. Okay. So you're gonna see a push, of gun rights, okay, to take away certain gun rights, all right, or to make it where you need an ID, okay, to have firearms, a special ID, okay, because the digital ID is being pushed heavy, okay, and he wants to make it where you have to have a special ID to get on the internet, okay. So censorship, okay, and gun ownership, okay, are two things you're going to see this devil, get ready to start pushing, okay, because he wants people disarmed as he's getting ready to make his move. All right. And that's why they're able to roll things out, in China and certain other countries quicker because those citizens are already disarmed. Okay. Which, it's going to be an uproar. He tried to bring these things, to America, man. Okay. So the devil got a lot on his plate. All right. And he's trying to use that same old, all right, washed up hook shot, problem, reaction, solution, and it's being called out at every turn, So I got a little clip that I want to get into. But before that, let's set the tone with this in the book of Isaiah 32:5. It says, the fool, the good for nothing. And this is Isaiah 32:5 in the AMP. And see this, okay, that this says it better than anything. It said the fool, the good for nothing. Okay, the fool, the good for nothing, would no longer be called noble, nor the rogue said to be generous, man. Okay, and Esau, all right, is nothing but an imposter that's in rulership. All right, this man is a criminal that's in rulership. Okay, and he's rogue, he's gone rogue. The Lord has given him, all right, the authority of the earth, and this man has completely went rogue. Okay, let's see if we can get this word rogue. All right, but this man is good for nothing. This is why there's a prophecy. Okay, this is why when you go into prophecy, Esau was done away with. Okay, because he is a nation that's good for nothing. He's not needed for anything. He's been an example of wickedness. The Lord, all right, created the most wicked, diabolical, all right, deceiving nation of people. Okay, he made this people just to be, all right, the criminals of the earth. Okay, so we will see what it looked like, all right, with sin going unchecked in the earth. Esau is called the man of sin. So the Lord raised this man up as an example, okay, to see, so we can see, the sons of God can see what it looks like, all right, when, okay, a sin is unchecked in the earth. Okay, so let's go here. All right, just real quick definition of the word rogue. Okay. All right, so you go into this word rogue. All right, what does it mean? All right, what does it mean someone is rogue? It said dishonest, untrustworthy person, scoundrel. Okay, and this is what this devil is, man. All right, synonyms. All right, a cheat, a swindler, a trickster, a villain. Okay, and for the longest, the villain has been able to play the victim. Okay, turn hero. You see, for the longest, the true villain of the earth, Esau Edom, has been able to play the victim / hero. Okay, but see, the gig is up. the jig is up, man. Okay, and now he's not able to play that character anymore because it's not adding up. You see, there's a spirit of exposure in the earth, beginning with the prophets, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai, when this man is exposed. Okay, so the villain can't play the victim like he once used to. Okay, so now what we're seeing, all right, is the devil make one attempt to be the victim, and he just finna wild out, man. Okay, so this good for nothing food, all right, is not going to be called noble or generous. Okay, he's been called out for what he is, man. Okay, the wicked, the problem of the planet Earth. Okay, Isaiah 32:6 it said, "For the fool speaks nonsense, and in his heart or his mind plans wickedness." Man, here it is. This man is the root of all wickedness in the earth. Okay, he actually like he's just so concerned about gun violence, but who manufactures all these weapons? Okay, who manufactured these weapons, man? How are these weapons in the four quarters of the earth? Okay, all this ammunition is so accessible. This is under your watch, man. Okay, the sickness. All right, who made the juice? He made a poison. All right, concoction mandatory in the earth, but somehow he's the victim. Okay, they run this unjust economy, this whole economy. Okay, the capitalism, or this whole economy, which is completely wicked. Okay, which leaves the masses impoverished and the few, all right, wealthy. Okay, he runs the economy, man. That's unjust, man. You see, this man runs Hollywood that pushes, okay, anti-Messiah content. Okay, XCX trafficking the children. All these major corporations, he runs these things, man. Okay, so the people with all the money, the influence, the power, the authority, the military might, how are they the victim all the time? Okay, when they're all right terrorizing the earth from every angle, economically, all right, financially, spiritually, mentally. Okay, it's just this man just has a continual psyops, just playing on the minds of people in the earth, man. Okay, this man has messed up, the relationship between man and woman, parents and children. Okay, this man has run the goddamn muck in the earth, but somehow he's always the victim, man. That's defending himself. Okay, this man has took lands and resources, waged wars. This nigga done dropped atomic bombs. This nigga done dropped atomic bombs on civilians. Okay, and this man is always thousands of miles from where it's always, these Edomite governments, okay, are always thousands of miles, okay, from their land doing wickedness, but somehow they're the victim. They're defending themselves. Okay, it says to practice ungodliness and to speak error concerning the Lord. So this man is planning, all right, a major rebellion against the Most High. With this new world order, he wants to replace the Most High with technology. Okay, this is this man's plan. You see, he plans to depopulate the masses. Okay, for his new world order agenda. Okay, this man wants, he already oppresses the people. Okay, especially the tribes, but he wants to double down on the oppression. People are already crying out, screaming, in this man's rulership, and he wants to double down on the oppression that already exists. He wants to double down and triple down on tyranny, man. But somehow he's the victim. Okay, but he has the authority. Okay, this man has all the authority. Okay, when it comes to implementing wickedness, man, he's able to, to destroy the agriculture sector. No one has the power to destroy, all right, agriculture like Esau. No one has the power to destroy, all right, the water, the food like Esau. The education curriculum, what's allowed within music and entertainment. Okay, no one has the power to change these things outside of Esau in this in the realm of men. Okay, so here it is. This man has the ability to create more starvation or end starvation, and he creates more starvation. Okay, to put a stop to violence, okay, or create more violence, he creates more violence. Okay, because what he did in DC, bringing the murder rate to zero, well, that shows you that he can stop this when he wants, but he chooses not to, man. Okay, but somehow he's a victim. Okay, he says to keep the craving of the hungry unsatisfied and to deprive the thirsty of drink, man. Okay, and this man loves, all right, using the poor for a prey. I say, especially the tribes, because the tribes get it the worst. The whole earth is suffering under this man's rulership, but the tribes get it the worst, man. He loves to keep people deprived and depending on him. Okay, in this new world order system, all right, he wants to create a dependency like no other. Okay, he wants to create a whole new level of people being dependent on him. Okay, damn devil, man. All right, so I'm gonna play this video, and it's gonna show you that this devil, he's gearing up to play the victim, man. All right, so he can be justified and wilding out, man. Okay, so let's go on. Oh, so like, let me go back to this.
Seriously, we work closely with them. We receive regular updates as well. The Director General of Asia has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well. And we continue to work closely with our security agencies. We expect hundreds of thousands of firearms will be collected and destroyed through this scheme. Consistent with the approach that was taken in 1996, the government is proposing that states and territories will be responsible for the collection, processing and payment to individuals for surrendered firearms. The Australian Federal Police will then be responsible for the destruction of these firearms.
The New South Wales government will be introducing what the Premier calls the strongest gun laws in the country in the wake of Sunday's terror attack. Chris Minns said that he is considering removing recreational hunting as a legitimate reason for owning a firearm, as well as a range of other new gun reforms. And the Premier will also recall Parliament on Monday to pass a suite of protest restrictions. Let's just take a listen.
I have a responsibility to keep the community safe, to ensure that people can walk down the street without being in fear of being killed. And unfortunately, when you've got a terrible situation where people have been killed, mowed down in great number just because.
But this same man, all right, was with the juice being mandated. Australia has some very austere. Okay, when you go to Australia and how austere they were, when it came to the lockdown and the mandates. Okay, it was crazy. Okay, they had some real austere, measurements they took during the lockdown. Okay, and force you to get the juice. So here it is. This man can pretty much be a mass murderer. All right, under the guise of health. Okay, but now he wants to take away recreational hunting. See, because that's another thing in the New World Order. They don't want you're not going to be hunting in the New World Order. Okay, you're not going to have a garden. No, everything you get will be completely dependent. Okay, on the elites. Your access and your permission, all right, will be based on your behavior within this system. Okay, so this man is gearing up some real wickedness, but meanwhile he's calling you the problem, not the gun manufacturers. Okay, Not all right. The you know the what you call it, the laws. Okay, not the black market that he allows. Okay, for guns and criminals to have guns, and none of these things are the problem. Okay, where you and your firearm is the problem. Okay, you see how much of a devil and a hypocrite this man is. Okay, and they get on TV with these suits. Okay, and their slick back hair. Okay, as if they're just all about peace and safety and health and prosperity, and when they do the exact opposite with their policies, man. Okay.
Of their religious faith. I think it would be a horrible situation to see a mass demonstration. In my view, a mass demonstration on this scale would be so divisive for our community. It would light a fire that I think would be difficult to extinguish.
And will mark 1 week since the horrific terror attack at Bondi Beach.
And the rise of anti-Semitism has Australian leaders vowing to crack down on hate speech.
Morning, guys. We are going to see likely some new restrictions both on hate speech and on.
It says the rise on Semitism. And they act like the small hat just can't go outside without a mob just, chasing them down the street. They just act like, they just, as soon as they go outside, it's a mob just outside waiting, and they just got to sprint, take off, the little bangs, the little sideburns, bouncing, holding the little hat. Okay. And that's the picture they paint, man. All right. Like the earth is just, just got this nigga surrounded. And in any moment, he could be, unalive. Everybody just waiting to, unalive him in every corner, man. Okay. And that's the illusion of this news, man. All right. And the media, okay, which is an enchantment, is meant to create a delusion, man, an illusion, falsehood, man.
On demonstrations here in Australia in the wake of Sunday's attack that left 15 dead, lawmakers here say they're going to outlaw the phrase globalize the intifada, which means for many trying to legitimize violent attacks against Jews. They're trying to also outlaw hate symbols, flags from parties like Hamas and the Nazi Party as well.
We'll also make it very clear that horrific recent events have shown that the chant globalize the intifada is hate speech, and it encourages violence in our community. The chant will be banned alongside other hateful comments and statements made in our community.
The government is also planning new restrictions on help them down, get them off the street. And finally, some good news out of all this. Ahmed El Ahmed, the 43-year-old fruit seller who was seen briefly disarming one of the gunmen, he received a check in the hospital for about $1.65 million.
The victim and the hero. Now, how did he get this much damage? When he wrestled, it was a minor scuffle, but how is he this hurt from wrestling the gun? We seen the man wrestle a gun from him and stand up there, set the gun back down on the tree. Okay, we seen him wrestle his gun, so-called wrestle the gun from this man. It was like two old men getting into it. Okay, very low contact. Now, how was this nigga laid up like this, man? Oh boy, man, this devil here, man. This is a Saturday Night Live skit, man. I mean, man, you can't take this nigga serious, man. Okay, when this nigga, pushes in the news, man. Okay. Oh boy.
More than $40,000. 40,000 different people contributed to that amount, really inspired by his bravery during that time of crisis.
There's a petition circulating that has attracted tens of thousands of signatures of people calling for him to go. And around the world, Anthony Albanese and his government is an embarrassment. The US Director of Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, said that this attack should not come as a surprise to anyone. She says that this is the direct result of the massive influx of radicals. This is her message on X. The tragic Islamist terror attack against those at a Hanukkah celebration in Australia, sadly, should not come as a surprise to anyone. This is the direct result of the massive influx of Islamists to Australia. Their goal is not only the Islamisation of Australia, but the entire world, including the United States. Islamist and Islamism is the greatest threat to the freedom, security and prosperity of the United States and the entire world. It is probably too late for Europe and maybe Australia. It is not too late for the United States of America, but it soon will be. Thankfully, President Trump has prioritised securing our borders and deporting known and suspected terrorists and stopping mass unvetted migration that puts Americans at risk. And here is President Donald Trump in a short but clear message.
The love and prayers to our entire nation, to the people of Australia, and especially all those affected by the horrific and anti-Semitic terrorist attack, and that's exactly what it is, anti-Semitic, that took place on a Hanukkah celebration in Sydney. What a terrible, terrible thing. We don't learn. We're joined in mourning all of those who were killed, and we're praying for the swift recovery of the wounded. Some are very horrifically wounded, as you probably know. All nations must stand together against the evil forces of radical Islamic terrorism, and we're doing that. Joining us tonight are Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, is doing a fantastic job. Representatives Paul Gosar, David Kutzoff, Claudia Tenney, Ronnie Jackson, he was my White House doctor. Ronnie was asked, who is the healthiest of all? Was it Barack Hussein Obama? Was it Sleepy Joe Biden? Or was it Donald Trump? And he said, Trump was by far the healthiest.
Mia, what do you make of New South Wales Premier Chris Minns' response?
Well, I mean, he's starting to talk about protests. Now you're starting to worry about these protests. These protests have been going on for 2 years. Every single Sunday, we had protesters out there chanting extremely anti-Semitic things, calling for the incitement of violence, and there's been absolutely no leadership on the issue. I mean, where was the Premier on October 8 when we had those demonstrations outside the Opera House calling to the deaths of the IDF and saying things like gas the Jews? Where was he then? But now we want to start talking about division in this community. I mean, make no mistake, this is Australia's 9/11. This is a day that we will never forget in Australia's history. It was an attack on every single Australian here. It was our 9/11, and we're focusing on things such as gun laws and protests. It just shows that the government here has missed the point. In all levels of government, state and federal, they're not understanding the real problem at play here. So if we want to talk about protesting, that's all well and good, but we've almost missed that opportunity because it has been happening for 2 years. There has been abhorrent things being said in this community, and I think they've missed the point.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Over in the UK, Oxford University students and activists from the group Your Party staged a protest in the city centre on Sunday chanting, "Long live the Intifada." This was held just hours after this deadly terrorist attack at Bondi Beach in Australia. Now, the rally was held in support of 8 hunger strikers linked to Palestine Action, an organisation that has been prescribed as a terrorist group. Now, 2 of Britain's biggest police forces say that they will now be arresting protesters who chant "Globalise the Intifada" following recent terror attacks. The Metropolitan Police and Greater Manchester Police say that anyone using the slogan could face prosecution, arguing the context has changed in the wake of the Bondi attacks and growing concerns that it incites violence. Let's listen to this.
What if you can create your own website by saying, "This is what I want"? With Wix, you can.
We know communities are concerned about placards and chants such as "Globalise the Intifada," and those using it at future protests or in a targeted way should expect the Met or Greater Manchester Police to take immediate action.
So they're saying right after the shooting, all right, you have this protest this march, this anti-Semitic march right after the shoot. All right, what is that? Okay, this Antifada. Okay, so Antifada is the Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation. So they're saying globalize the Antifada, all right, which is uprising against, the small hats. Okay, so, they're making it as if, just these people just shot up the place, then when they marched after, saying globalize the Palestinian uprising against Israel. Okay, so these devils, man, are just running propaganda, major psyops, crisis actors. The same old play, they recycle the same old crisis actors, man. They're just beyond tacky. Okay, and he's making it to where he's just under imminent threat of death at every second, and he has to do something drastically, all right, to remove the threat, that's on him. And it's gonna come a time where the Lord really gonna get it. He loved to play. He really gonna be there, man. Okay. Well, right now, this is propaganda. Okay. Nobody is at them small hats, man. Okay. Nobody is at them small hats. All right. Live in the safest neighborhoods. Okay. On the planet. Okay. Throughout the earth. All right. Central South America. Okay. Australia, wherever they at, these devils are living good. Now they catching hell in the state of Israel. Okay. Because, these nations and these groups are, have begun, to strike within, Israel. It's a constant war, but around the world, these small heads live in the best, all right, and safest places, man. Okay, but that's it on that. Let's get a few more precepts. All right, ain't gonna be long. It's let's go here to the book of. All right, and the devil, he's just tired of being called out. He's tired of apologizing. Okay, for his wickedness and what he's done. He's just tired of being called out. So he's running this same play of victimhood. All right, because he wants to wild out now. The devil's getting bloodthirsty. He's tired of getting called out in his kingdom, man. Okay, this is also Sirach 13:3 said the rich man have done wrong, and yet he threatened withal. The poor is wrong, and he must entreat also. Okay, so the rich man is Esau Edom. This nigga does all this wrong and wickedness in the earth, and he's still threatening what he's going to do next. Okay, this man this man terrorized the earth in every way. Like I say, financially, all right, your health, okay, your mental, your spirit. This man terrorized the earth in every way imaginable. Okay, but this nigga is constantly threatening what he's going to do next. Okay, as if he's been done wrong. He sees that the poor is wrong and he must entreat also. Yeah, so the poor is done wrong, but the poor got to explain himself. You got to explain when you go withdraw your money from the bank. Okay, you got to explain. All right, your your juice status. Okay, you gotta go get an exemption. You don't, to try to get around the Jews, you gotta go get an exemption. Try to explain your religion why you don't want the death potion. And many more things, man. You see, to get off work, you gotta, you gotta lie to get off. A grown ass man lying for, to get a vacation day, man. Okay. And so much more, man. You see? So even if the people doing wrong got to constantly explain themselves, the people that the wrong is being done to. But the people that are doing the wrong, they're constantly acting as if they're the ones being wrong and what they're gonna do about it. Okay? And this is the system that this man runs. Okay? You see? So let's go here. All right, because at the end of the day, the devil, he's gonna justify, all right, coming down with force. You know, so he got to play this role of the victim. Okay? This is I get to the point. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2:16. It says, we are esteemed of him. And this is going into the prophets, man. All right, because this is the main problem. This is what it's all boiling down to. He wants to get at the prophets. This is who everything is mainly being targeted at. Yes, he wants to do away, you know, with all these narratives that go against his agenda. Okay. But the main target, his prize of it all, is the prophets, man. You know, because the prophets are calling this man out directly, according to the scriptures. You see, the prophets through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Al-Shai not leaving a stone unturned. All right, and we're telling this man how it ends. Okay? Well, this man, we know that this man is a counterfeit. He's pretending to be us. And with this new system, he's trying to pretend to be the Most High. He's a goddamn counterfeit, man. It said he abstained from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounced the end of the just to be blessed and make it his boast that the Most High, all right, is his father. All right, they're claiming we're Israelites, Yasha'Allah, princes of the power. Okay, showing you that his main problem is with the prophets, man. Okay, it said, let us see, because he wants to link us. He wants to link us to this Islamic extremists. You know, he's gonna make a move to link us to that. All right, don't be surprised if one of these niggas that y'all love so much, all right, start to link themselves to Islam. All right, because Esau's gonna start requiring more of his sellouts. Okay, which we're seeing. Verse 17 says, let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let's examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. So this devil is blinded and deceived by his own wickedness, man, because he's been able to deceive and do wickedness for so long that he's blinded. Okay, that we have a power that's going to intervene. Okay, he's blinded to the fact, all right, that he can be touched, that he can be judged. You know, so he's always talking about what he's getting ready to do. Okay, as if his word, all right, is sure. Nah, man, the Lord finna intervene. You know, when you start making this move to the prophets, man, there are some whom the Lord's going to allow, you know, to be beheaded for with the testimony of Yahweh. Okay, but then there's a majority, and it's going to be a standard lifter. Okay, and ultimately Yahweh is going to be sent back. Okay, verse 22 says, as for the mysteries of the Most High, they know them not, neither hope they for the wages of righteousness, nor discern a reward for blameless souls. Okay, so they don't understand, all right, what the Lord is really getting ready to do in the midst of his people, man. Okay, and they're trying to stop it, all right, but they can't. Okay, the Lord is getting ready to change rulerships in the earth, man. He's ready. All right, the Lord is getting ready to transition from the rule of the wicked to the rule of the righteous, man. Okay, and this is the last time that rulership, all right, will be transitioned in the earth. It's going to be transitioned to his sons, all right, once and for all. Okay, so the devil is doing all this. He's over here, he's over there. He got this going, got this propaganda, got this scandal, got this gimmick. And at the end of the day, when this nigga get through running himself raggedy, man, he's going to be judged. Okay, when he get through lying and, you know, when he go for his moves, he's going to be judged, man. Okay, so that's the point. You know, just want to get into that. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Till next time I say shalom, Kwam Yashala, Baba Balsum, shalom.